that got me. All right, night 2, because Lord knows I got to get up early tomorrow. Night
I'm
2.
sorry.
No, you're good. This is you talk about wrestling. There's no
all
time.
Right, good. I just because I'm retired, so I don't.
I was just about to say Ray doesn't have any sympathy for us. He's retired and
I'm retired, man.
What's wrong with you guys? Why don't you stay up? All right, night 2, Triple H kicks off the show. Thoughts?
I loved it. Because what pisses me off is that when our guys retired, there's not a send off anymore.
Yeah.
I never got a send off.
It's like
I retired during COVID. I got no luncheon, no nothing.
Not a go watch, nothing.
Not a here's your last check, get out of here. Nothing.
No.
I like to see the goodbyes, man.
Yeah.
I like that part of it. And for him to come out and do that and put the boots out there, man, I loved it, bro. I when he came out, I was pumped.
All indications
elbow to Roman and everything.
Yeah, all indications point that he really, he should never wrestle. He has a defibrillator.
Yeah, he cannot. Yeah.
It's over. But this Mania is historic because of its success and some of the things that we witnessed. But we saw hopefully three things close, and that was Triple H left the boots in the ring. The Undertaker came out and said goodbye. Although for a while I thought that was Jerry Jones. I couldn't tell the difference between the two of them. And then Austin had his moment.
In the same room at the same time.
I mean, I was telling listen, where's Jerry Jones coming out to the Undertaker's music? So I know he owns the stadium, but you can't claim that.
Yeah, you can't just come out anytime you want to.
Yeah, and then Austin had his moment because you remember, I vividly remember WrestleMania 19. He did the job for The Rock. A very good match, very underrated match, especially if you consider Austin's state of mind. And then the very next night, Eric Bischoff said, "I have documentation saying you can never wrestle again," and he took his bag and left. How it was. And I said, that's his moment. That's how you're treating this guy. Yeah. So he got his moment. And then the third one is, and those are the three big ones. Now there may be a fourth, and that's involving the old man himself. We'll get to that later. Yeah. But this pay-per-view, the end of Triple H has to be the end. Thank God he escaped the clutches of death. Austin gets his moment, and Undertaker, he's given it all. I really feel bad for Undertaker because, you could see him walking in dress shoes. He's got a hard time walking around.
Yeah.
I hope he's doing a lot of yoga and going into those cryovacs because his body is torn up, and you can see it when he's walking around,
Yeah.
like an old man.
I saw they made an announcement that I guess he's starting his own podcast.
The knowledge he has, I tell you what.
Listen, and his oratory skills. Did you guys see the Hall of Fame speech?
Yeah, oh yeah, I did.
Well, I didn't know.
I almost thought if I was there, I probably would have taken my wallet out and gave him some money. He sounded like he was like,
Pastor Taker.
Oh my God. He was fantastic. He is, for somebody who's been quiet all these years, he's
talking now.
He's smoking like you wouldn't believe. So, so it was an amazing thing to see Triple H.
Yeah, man.
I Lewis mentioned it.
I don't know what his power is in the company now, but because they kind of changed the NXT up on him and everything, but
which is a shame. But the thing, Lewis, you talk about the three people retiring, like me, Lewis mentioned it earlier. When you hear the gong, the glass, or that guitar strum, just the intro music, that first one or two, I don't think anybody was expecting it. Night 2 starts and you hear dun, you're like, it was like you knew who it was. It's not generic. It's not just blanket like insert from GarageBand sample music. Like it's you knew who they were. And it's sad that all of them are now retired because there's not too many intros left that have you feeling like that.
Yeah. And you know, history has shown that the inductees to the Hall of Fame come out. So we knew Undertaker was going to come out. We knew that. Okay. You ain't going to be buying a ticket for WrestleMania on the night that he goes in, that you're not going to see him come out to the
exactly.
And you knew Austin was going to have his moment. And I don't think there's anybody that was thinking Kevin Owens is going over. That wasn't happening either. So, but I will tell you, I was surprised to see Triple H. I didn't know what his state of health was. So, you know, he's getting up there screaming and putting the water on. And I'm like, whoa, take it easy, man. That defibrillator.
The heart, man. Calm that down.
You know, so that was a surprise to me because, you know, from all that we heard, you know, I go, Jesus, man, he must be in bad shape. And for him to show up and do what he did, you know, I was a little surprised on that one.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming, but it was awesome.
Love that. Awesome. All right, the opening actual match, which is another great match to open night 2 with. RK Bro versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy. RK Bro wins. And I'll add Gable Stevenson comes to the ring and does his thing. That was a great match. That was really good. That's just
good opener.
It's a great opener. Riddle can do whatever he wants to do. Like that dude is. Can we just get Montez Ford? Can we just make him a single star now? Like how far does Street Profits have? They can either turn heel or they just got to make him a single star. Like he is ready. Yeah. He's ready to go. Him and Bianca on screen. Come on, man. That's printing money.
Yeah. I like the Street Profits together, but I know that sooner or later they're going to push Montez over, you know. His tag team partner he's good too, man. For a big guy, he moves pretty good.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's just not.
I don't even know his name. I'm ashamed. I don't even know Montez. I know Montez Ford because he's got written star all over.
Dawkins.
That's it.
Yeah,
oh, man, that's a shame. Dawkins. That's a shame.
He is clearly the Jannetty of the team.
Oh, I haven't heard that one in a long time.
Clearly.
Oh wow.
If you picked a star out of that group, who you picking?
Of course, Montez, but I mean, he's not. I wouldn't put him in the category.
He's not trash. No, he's not trash. He's just the Jannetty. That's.
You know, it's funny because the you know in the Attitude Era, we used to say there's Jeff Hardy and Suck Hardy. But the Jannetty, you know, you said it, and I was like, my God, he said it just what I have on my notes. I believe, and I'm not talking next year, I'm talking down the road. It could be, you know, wrestling careers go very quick. If you ever get a chance to Google WrestleMania results, you can see where CM Punk was just sort of in matches, then winning Money in the Banks, then winning Intercontinental, you know, and you go through that. And there's a long history of people going through the channels until they get their moment. I really believe, not now, but I see Riddle and Montez Ford as two big WWE stars. If things go right for them and they stay healthy, they are different. They have great charisma. I think the sky's the limit for Riddle, but Montez Ford also. You know, I like where they are right now. You know, and Montez may be going single. Here's a Ray Russell prediction down the road. Maybe a year or two from now, I'd like to see Riddle turn on Orton, not Orton. Everybody's talking about Orton, talking about turning on Riddle. It's going to go the other way around, and that's when Riddle will make his move.
That's where he goes from here to there.
Yes, and that's my prediction. Ooh. It's too predictable for Orton.
Too easy. It's too easy for Orton.
It's time for it to go the other way. And so
I like it. I like it.
I like that this match didn't it. It was just a pure fun opener. We have a heavy night ahead of us with the main event. And as for Gable Stevenson, you know, I remember watching Kurt Angle show up and flip Jerry Lawler around on Monday Night Raw. So, and I was like, oh, all right, well, I don't know, but that Chad Gable is another. It's a shame. He is so special, but he's so small.
He's so good.
He's like I don't know how to describe him, but he's like Kurt Angle with a little bit of comedy in there or something. But he's freaking fantastic.
He is good.
I would have loved to see Stevenson side with them instead of going against
me too.
them.
I thought so too. I said
the night is young.
It's just an easy story to tell with.
Yeah,
he can be a part of the Alpha.
But RK Bro is like one of my. I mean, I haven't cared about tag team wrestling since Demolition. Okay.
Oh wow.
I mean, like I don't. I just the tag team thing has never been really big for WWE over the last 15. RK Bro is big. I love RK Bro. There's something about them, and I hope they don't ruin that. I hope they take it to what I think they should do, which is Riddle turns on Orton. Not next week. Shouldn't even be this year.
Ride it out. Yeah, ride that out.
Ride that out. And that could be, next year's WrestleMania could be Orton versus Riddle.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
So that's what I'm hoping for. But for now, they're a tag team match that is just. Let's not forget they're probably the two best workers on Raw. I mean, they're just unbelievable.
Yeah. Before you start, Lewis, real quick, is there a more over move than the RKO / cutter?
Oh my God!
Is there a more over move than that? Like
worth watching? Just watching that. Yeah.
Just when Riddle hit that to the springboard to the.
Oh my God! I was just about to. That's what I was going to start. I was going to start with. First, I remembered something. Going back to that Drew McIntyre fight, even though we said it was a bad match, I thought Drew McIntyre did work that match for him, good for him, as far as his ability, especially when he jumped over the top rope and did the flip and landed on those guys. For a big guy like that, 265, 2, something like that?
No, he's like 6. He's like 6'8", maybe?
Is it? Okay, so for him to do that,
big dude.
Yeah, for him to do that move was awesome, bro. I remember like literally my eyes was like, whoa. And then he landed on his back a little bit. And and then when RK Bro ended their match with the Riddle doing the springboard RKO and the way Montez Ford sold it, and then Gable going up a super high off the top rope, and then RKO out of nowhere was freaking fantastic.
Yeah, that's just and once again, that's the purpose of that match. That was a great opener. There was a lot of fun. Otis is kind of fun too. I like Otis.
I like it.
That is what that match was all about. That's a match that I would not want to remove from this card. Remember how we talked about taking a match
there's a couple.
Off? This is not one of them.
There's a couple.
You're right. This is a fun match.
Possibly one of them. The next match.
I see what you did there.
My transition game, I'm working on the transition thing.
I love it.
Bobby Lashley versus Omos. Lashley defeats Omos via pinfall. This is dare I say this is a house show match? Like, I get the bill for a year and a half actually it's been a year. It's because Omos debuted last WrestleMania. So one year they had the breakup with AJ that went nowhere. And then they still built him up. And
I think you're witnessing the end of a career. I don't think Omos is salvaged, and I think they just cut bait.
I think when they put him with MVP though now, this is like their last ditch effort, only because they've invested. That's it.
I mean, they have a fetish for big guys. monsters and giants. If this guy could work, it would be money.
Yeah,
But
he can't work.
the fact he's Giant Gonzalez. You know,
he's a black Khali, but
he's
Khali, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Khali is probably, although I do love his music, Entrix music. I get into that.
But that's all he is. He's nothing else.
You don't, by doing what they did, you protect. My heart thought I said, this is a shame. Bobby Lashley needs to be protected. He's a good, serviceable. I like him as a heel, and I think he needs to be in the mix. This keeps him in the mix, almost, which I think my buddy Jeff from Chicago calls him almost.
I like that.
Almost is just, it's, I wouldn't be surprised if he, again, a year from now is no longer with that company. You can't job like that and then say, let's turn him into a monster heel. You destroyed the heel.
Yeah.
So there's nothing left. So what do you do? Yeah, he's going to feud and have MVP on him. And that'll be for just a couple months, whatever. But you can't start a fire over twice. It's just done. So I think that's the end of that match. And Bobby Lashley, who I thought was injured. It looks like they just fit him in here.
Yeah.
I think he is clear to go back. He was in concussion protocol or something like that, or yeah.
So this looks like a match where we're going to give out some paychecks, because
this is exactly what this was.
This did not need to be on the card.
This is a paycheck match. Thank you guys. Because you have the sheet. How long was this match?
That was 6 minutes.
For a WrestleMania, 6-minute match is basically a 2-minute Raw house show special. Like for WrestleMania, 6-minute match is entrances take longer than 6 minutes at Mania. But this one,
I mean, I'm always fascinated because now it's like, like I said, I'm keeping my eye on Cody. I'm keeping my eye on Omos. Are they coming and going? Yeah, and everything indicates that almost is gone.
Oh, nobody's gonna pick him up. So he's like, this is enjoy your last couple months, because
we'll see. Because otherwise it doesn't make sense, if you're really high on this guy and he had some credibility of working a match, then they would have sacrificed Bobby Lashley, you would figure. Otherwise you don't book this. So
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't really care for it too much.
Good.
Although I kind of pull for Omos.
I like Omos, man. I'm gonna start using that.
It's catchy. It's catchy. I like it.
Yeah. I with the MVP thing, I don't think he's gonna wrestle as much with the MVP. I think it's gonna be one of those, workovers, and talk a lot of crap to each other for a couple weeks or whatever.
It's going to be a filler. It's filler stuff.
Filler.
They got to have filler. They put up so much. The amount of hours this company puts out on the Peacock.
They got to have something.
They don't cut bait. They milk it out. We're going to milk it.
And this is going to be milk to the teeth.
Oh boy,
all right,
this is the one. This is the one. Oh boy, I was
tired of talking about that. This match, Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville, anything goes match. Johnny Knoxville defeats Sami Zayn somewhat controversially on the finish move. I don't know if his shoulders are down personally, but that's just me.
I didn't even see that.
It was a contraption that didn't work. It was
the sweet shot that almost didn't work.
This is because like he went to pull it and then it didn't work, and he went to pull it and he's like, oh crap.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
It was too late.
This match is probably exactly what it needed to be. Like, this was, people love Jackass for Jackass. I tell you what, Wee Man body slams Sami Zayn. I'm like, yes. And then loving the heel guy so much when he gave him the boot. Yes.
Yeah,
it's so
man.
bad. Lord, I'm sorry. But
I laughed so hard when Wee Man body slammed him, man. I thought that was so hilarious, man. I didn't think it was possible.
yeah,
You know, a body slam is not nothing to a guy's our height and stature, but to a small person, and I didn't think it was possible, but he did it. He did it good too, man.
He did it good. Shout out to Sami Zayn for what you said earlier. Anybody he's in the ring with is gold. So
he's been comedy for about a year now.
Yeah,
maybe a little longer. You know, he's been this kind of, you know, wearing the communist outfit and conspiratorial theorist, and just his, you know, he's not really going for belts. He's just there as like this delusional person, and just so I know some of the wrestling purists probably wouldn't like this match. I laughed through the whole thing.
It was great.
I grew up.
I watched it. I watched it with Roman, so it was super entertaining for me because he couldn't get enough of this match. He thought it was the most hilarious thing ever.
There was a couple just, you know, I can't believe I'm talking about the features of this match, but when Sami Zayn's on the top rope and Johnny Knoxville hits the pyro, I was like, that is freaking hilarious.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's just it's creative stuff that obviously for that match, you know, somebody had to have that in the bag, and like, how could we use this? Ooh, Johnny Knoxville. Let's use it there. That was the hand, the big hand.
I think Johnny Knoxville brought all that stuff with him. It's in his trailer, in his semi truck, you know, the Jackass semi truck.
Just driving around town with the U-Haul.
Having the cast out there from Jackass, though, you know, the guys that we love to watch. It was awesome.
And just like I said, so Sami Zayn, who just re-signed with the company, so he's not going anywhere. You know, I don't know what you do with this guy other than continue to do weird, crazy comedy things. You know, he's never going to be like, I'm sure one day he's going to please be serious and say enough is enough. I'm going to, do a Dolph Ziggler or something. But bottom line is he did a great job in taking this. He was so bewildered and stumbling around and stepping into, bear traps and things like that. And I just said, God, Sammy. I mean, I've seen him, as I said, in the Indies, do matches that were unbelievable. So for him to do this, it's a big departure, but that was truly entertaining. I can't sit here and say, I don't like that. It was fun. It's fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It was fun. I'm going to predict again, another prediction that they're going to do another Jackass Sami Zayn match somewhere down the road. Of course. I think people would love it. I think people would love it. And I think they can, they'd be foolish not to do that again. I mean, in WrestleMania, the boot to the midsection to the my God. But you remember, now this is one of my favorite things in WrestleMania, and I think it was either 3 out of 4 WrestleManias or 3 in a row, was Kane and Pete Rose going at it.
It was 15, 16.
And then he came as a San Diego Chicken one time. It was 14. I loved 16. Yeah. And I loved that kind of stuff, and the fact that every year they gave you a Pete Rose and Kane interplay. That's great. Why I said, and that's one of my favorite memories of that Attitude Era in the Manias. I predict this program is far from over. Mm-hmm. This won't be a one-off, and you're like, well, they did it. I know it was there to promote the movie, but everybody loved it. Everybody loved it, and they had a lot of fun. And I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do something again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Knoxville loved it. Like, Knoxville loves this, so he's like, sure, whatever. And he's probably a guy, unlike Logan Paul, he's not asking for a bag. He's like, hey man, give me a couple pizzas. Well, he's good insurance policy, and we're good. And as I said, he he probably got a thrill. They're still thrill seeking too.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
course.
Oh yeah. And Steamboat wasn't there, was he?
No.
I don't. No, right? Steamboat
It was Pontius.
No,
It
was not.
Man.
It was Pontius and Wee Man and Knoxville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next match, which I will admit I have not seen fully. Women's Tag Team Championship. Okay. I'll just say this. I'm not even going to read the thing because when these segments came on Raw for the last month, I haven't watched a thing on them. Like, no, they're all good workers. No offense to any of them, but see, here's my problem with tag teams. For me, give me a tag team. If you're going to be a tag team, either come out to like the same music, or matching gear, or something or some type of common bond that lets me know you're a tag team. There is not a common bond in any. They just put people together for a WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That was give some of the, we got to give out. Everybody's on the program. Everybody needs a paycheck.
This is it.
This is it. This was the bathroom break match.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I've never saw it.
And the jokes that are on my phone when that match came up amongst my friends are so good and heinous. I can't even tell them. Like Luis seen a couple of them. The only thing I'm going to say, and it breaks my heart, Sasha Banks and Rhea Ripley, they're phenomenal talents, and to be in this match with the rest,
they deserve better.
I mean, I'm sorry, the other people, there's just not anybody. I think Shayna Baszler is again another one mishandled. She's like a Ronda Rousey light.
Yeah.
But
I thought she got released.
I think she got pushed back down to NXT, if I remember correctly. But from the main roster back to NXT, now back to the main roster. But Sasha is, I still can't believe that she's kind of like an afterthought. She's such a blue chip. Rhea Ripley looks like something you've never seen anywhere else in wrestling.
I love her, man. I love her. I think she should have.
24. She's like 24, 25.
Yeah,
maybe.
And she's just so it's a shame. Like, hopefully in years to come, we'll look back at this Mania and they're going to say, this match had these two in it. Like, what a waste. Because that's how I see it. I hope they do something with those two, because the others are just, I'm sorry, they're dime a dozen in my opinion.
They're there for a check.
Yeah. Although they're good to look at.
Yeah.
Shayna Baszler, but Carmella's good to look at.
But I mean, I've seen matches, some of the best female matches I've ever seen were with Sasha Banks. And
she's awesome, man.
So we went to the NXT. We got real lucky. We got like front row seats by accident. And it was the takeover before Brooklyn. So it was
okay. Yeah.
It was the one where Samoa Joe came out. It was that one. And so it was Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch that night.
Yeah.
And that match,
forget about it.
Oh my gosh.
It was better than any of the men's. Yeah.
Oh, by far. Yeah. By far. Just like I said, the storytelling. And that was heel Sasha Banks, which is my favorite Sasha Banks of all time. Like, just like she, like, that's what, from that to this, it's like,
yeah, and I'm gonna confession, I really like Sasha Banks. I mean, she's just, every time I see her, it's like a punch in the stomach. She's so beautiful, and I just have to go, what? This is who I'd put all my eggs in the basket with. This is the one. She's just amazing, and she hasn't really been doing much for a couple years now.
No,
not just like now, even before. So
last year it was her and Bianca.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't what it
wasn't
well.
it wasn't
a good story. They just like, all right,
yeah,
you
they
got a
just put it
title, you're Bianca, and y'all
right.
it.
It was pushed together, so it wasn't.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
So
no, I agree.
And then Rhea Ripley's freaky. I mean, I look at her and go, I think she's a natural heel based on her look.
Yeah.
She's gigantic. She's very
I know.
physical.
I know a lot of people won't agree with me, but I think Rhea Ripley, and I hate to say here, but we're men, at the end of the day, I think Rhea Ripley's smoking, man. Something about her,
it's a different look. It's different.
Yeah, I love, man, when she talks, the accent, I love it. I think she should have been where Ronda Rousey was in WrestleMania.
Couldn't argue
that
with
should have been her match.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. But so that was that's the only thing about that big match. I just said, how do you leave them two people? How's those people two people thrown into that?
Yeah, and then they got her teaming with Liv Morgan. As much as I like Liv Morgan, I just think Rhea Ripley just needs to be by herself, take over the game, and become champ, and line them up so she can beat them down.
Yeah. I'm good with that.
Rhea Ripley and Sasha Banks would be a great rivalry.
I can see that.
I think that'd be a great story.
No problems. No problems here. I'll tell you that. We're good with that.
I'm with you, Ray. When I was watching this match, I was like, Rhea Ripley and Sasha Banks did not need to be here.
I still haven't watched it. So.
But they're just putting the women together and see what happens. It's like rolling the dice. Let's see if we crap out or not.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it is. Like I said, there's no story. It's just, all right, you two weren't doing nothing, so y'all are a tag team now. And then they just like show up on TV as a tag team, and we're supposed to be like, ooh, they're a tag team.
I think it's a lack of women too. A lot of big names are hurt. You got Lacey Evans is hurt, and
oh my God, I forgot about her.
Bailey.
And I knew
Asuka.
Asuka, yeah.
Yeah, Asuka, that's it.
You know what? I don't want to spoil it for you because you didn't see Raw, did you?
No,
you guys didn't see Raw last night?
No, I didn't either.
All right, so I won't spoil it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I'll just leave my.
But usually the night after Mania is where the people that have been out on injuries come in and show up and either switch or everything like that. What am I missing?
I muted him.
He
so
muted
he
me.
Spoil it.
Oh, okay.
So he couldn't spoil it. I muted him.
So we'll regroup. We'll regroup on after we see Raw.
Yeah, this is Bianca Belair's next opponent. That's all.
Okay. All right, I'm good with that. All right, next match: AJ Styles versus Edge. Edge defeats AJ Styles via pinfall with a guest appearance from Damian Priest, which seems to be the new.
I love it.
Evil Edge.
I love it, bro. I love this.
I'm here for this. It's a little bit of a knockoff of the House of Black. Not gonna lie, but I'm okay. with it.
Yeah.
But I'm okay. I'm okay with it.
I'm for this. And I can't wait till they add more people to this group.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love a good group, man. I think me and Ray talked about this with Edge, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, this is weird. I'm gonna probably throw. This is the one match of the night I hated. Not because I was screaming at the TV when I was watching this match because I love AJ. I think AJ's great.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, what they've done to him coming from Japan and TNA to come to WWE, give him the belt twice, push him. Yeah. They did him right. Unlike, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times they don't do that. I love AJ.
Right.
And Edge, I don't even know how he's back after 9 years, but he's back and he's better than ever. But I hated this match. I hated it. I hated the ending. I just didn't. But here's what I hated. And again, it's probably I'm a little anal on the booking. AJ just got a concerto 2 weeks ago. Okay. He should have been, when they interviewed him, they should have said, I don't care if I win or lose. I'm going in there to destroy Edge.
Yeah.
This was the perfect night for a disqualification. Babyface loses control because I want to kill Edge.
Yeah.
Instead,
I agree.
Instead, that match was them feeling each other out, methodical, front, you know. And I was like, you know, the best thing would have been, and I always go to what would Austin done? Because Austin did this one time. Undertaker cost Austin the championship. Next night or next week, Undertaker's walking down the aisle for his entrance. You think Austin waited? He came down. He had a shovel and he jumped the Undertaker mid walking down the music. That's what AJ Styles should have been. You done, you mother, you gave me a concerto, and you think I'm gonna just show up to Mania and go, all right, let's see. You want the best of AJ?
Let me out wrestle you. That'll show you.
Yeah, no, I'm going to fight. I'm gonna get disqualified. They're gonna pull me off of you, and that's where Damian Priest should have showed up.
Yeah, right. I love it. I love that idea because
therefore the next few matches with Edge can start to simmer down towards a cage, stipulations. But AJ should have been a raving lunatic.
I love it. That's a good take because you know they pushed the part where Edge was like, I want the old AJ, I want the pitbull AJ.
Well, you ain't getting the old AJ. You're getting the lunatic AJ. You know?
Yeah. And they kind of got AJ with I'm gonna kick his ass. Like you haven't seen Raw yet, so
no, I haven't.
You know, so they're trying to get AJ back to the old pitbull, but you know they're not doing it very well. Like you said, they should have did that. Have AJ freaking lose his mind and disqualify himself and all that. Yeah, that's
Mania should have been AJ loses. I mean, Edge wins. AJ gets disqualified. He cannot control his emotions after taking a concerto. And
I love it. That's a good idea. I like that.
Edge bumps all over the ring. Okay, so AJ gets his heat back, but Edge wins in the end because Priest comes running in to save Edge, and then they give a beat down to AJ. But AJ,
just for him to come out.
AJ never was thinking about a wrestling match. Instead, he had a little methodical wrestling match. That match went for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
In that first 10 minutes, I'm like, what am I watching? What AJ, did you forget what happened to you?
Yeah. AJ should have came out with a hoodie on. you know, and jeans and just ready for action, man.
A steel pipe, the wrist tape.
That's it.
And that would have been great for Damian to come.
And then you could have told that they could have had their matches go on for months on end.
Yeah.
But 24 minutes that match, and I was losing my mind the first 10 minutes going, why is AJ not too upset? Why is he just having a regular AJ match?
Yeah. He should have came out with a different haircut. You know, all type of shit. Yeah, I
would have loved an interview with AJ where AJ, who doesn't do great interviews, he's good. He should have just said, listen, I'm just telling you right now, I'm going to get disqualified. I'm going to destroy.
I don't care if I win or lose.
I don't care if I win or lose.
I am whipping somebody's ass.
If he would have did that, he would have came out bloody. He would never hit the damn Titantron like he did when he came out. He came out all bloody and everything.
What was that about? That was some pyro that got him?
No, he came out and he hit his head on the entrance, like the WrestleMania sign.
So he gets beat up by Edge. He gets beat up by the set crew, and he comes out and gets a 25.
Like if you see the intro, he comes out cut already.
I was so upset with that. The way they did that, I was nuts because I says, when you
I didn't like.
He should have came out.
Like the way,
And if you look at it, obviously some of the older Manias, there's always a DQ finish. There's always and this was the perfect, you don't need to have clean finishes every match.
No.
I mean, that was the perfect time for someone to lose control, get pulled off by refs, still can't, because we all know that AJ and Edge could put on a match that beats anyone.
Yeah, they could go. Yeah, they could go.
So that was the best spot for AJ to lose his cool and show a wicked side to him, and then get beat down by Damian, and then the feud continues for months on end.
And that would have been a better way of introducing us to this whole faction.
Because otherwise the ending was kind of foolish, and it was a methodical match for the first 10 minutes.
if they wanted a wrestling match, then they could have cut this story of the concerto and just said,
right, and just said, I want the best.
I want to be better. Yeah, I want to be better than you. That would have been that. No, that makes a whole lot of sense.
There's a missing piece to this puzzle.
Yeah,
this match should have been, I want the best AJ in the world. Shake hands, see you at Mania, get ready bring your boots on, and people would have said, "Oh, this is going to be good." Two of the best, and and then the concerto at the end of the match, and then you carry the feud. They did it right then and there, and I said, "Well, then, like I said, Stone Cold wouldn't have cared if there was a ref in the ring.
Oh no,
he'd have said, "Your ass belongs to me."
Somebody's catching some hands right now on site.
Yeah, when I started off and say I love this, I like Edge having.
Oh yes, this faction that we're hearing about is gonna be great, but man, the way they delivered it, I just was like, you got to be kidding me. And I don't know, I just that's what I love, tone in my matches, and tone, and like I said, we were talking earlier about like Bianca and Becky. That needed a little tone for me, but it was still good because Becky did wrestle like she knew she was going to lose her life. You know what I mean? And AJ wrestled like he was wrestling a match on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I didn't even think of that, but that's spot on.
Yeah, and in fact, AJ had a very disappointing Mania match against Shinsuke Nakamura many years ago. It was a very boring match. And at the end, what did Shinsuke do? He lost it. Shinsuke gave him the nut shot, and there started the feud. So this thing didn't make any sense to me. But let's make no mistake, both of them are, probably top 5 workers in the company, right there with Seth and Kevin and now Cody probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would put Orton as one of the top workers, but
Orton's always a good worker, yeah.
But the problem is he's been around a long. His bump card, I don't know if you know that term, but there ain't much left in the gap. I mean, Randy is. I mean, this guy's been wrestling since he's been 18 or 19, and I'm glad he's doing tag teams. That's usually a sign to protect.
Yeah.
Because you can't. Yeah. Singles match is a lot of bumping, and I just wonder how many more bumps Randy's got in his body.
Yeah, I wonder about that too sometimes.
So the next match, Rich, There's
only one good thing about this match.
It's over.
1 minute and 40 seconds.
The New Day versus Sheamus and Rich Holland. 1 minute.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, when you said that everybody gets their WrestleMania parts.
Yeah.
Checks, and I was like, did Sheamus even wrestle? I was gonna ask that, but I was like, let me just hold that question up.
Well, they were supposed to be night 1. They got bumped to night 2.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then on night 2, they got bumped for a 1 minute and 46-second couple.
And I like this group. I like both
groups. I like both, but what are you doing?
I don't like what they're doing. I don't like the way the character they got for Peter Dunne or whatever his name is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the way they make them all. I like them, ready to fight like that, but just bring it down a little bit. You know what I mean? Simmer down a little bit, buddy. Keep doing that, but just bring it down a little bit.
The New Days, without Big E, I don't know what's going to come of them. They're. I kind of like Pete Dunne and that crazy. He's the littlest guy. He's like Spike Dudley.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that he was that little in NXT.
He's tiny.
I didn't realize that.
He's lost a lot of weight too. So he's slimmed down. The outfits they're wearing make me. I guess that's from that British,
the Irish
mob show.
I love it. I love that.
Peaky Blinders.
I love that show.
Well, that's where they're looking like that,
Yeah.
They look more like Dexy's Midnight Runners, if you remember that show. But we should call these matches paycheck matches. These are just matches to give out paychecks, or if you worked in the 30s and 40s for a company, you get a turkey at Christmas. This is what they're doing.
That's what this was.
So this
I
was
don't
just
even remember.
given
I
out.
don't even remember this match. To tell you the truth, man, I don't even remember watching this.
And it's a shame, but it's only 1:40. So if it was
Yeah, I mean,
5 minutes, that would be even more painful. So
Yeah,
that was the only good thing about it.
They got in, they got out,
Yeah.
and then because I really want to talk about the next one. The next match was so weird.
I like how the match is over and he goes in there ready to fight and he's beating up.
It's a very funny character.
It's a
very
good
funny character.
It's a good
It's like
he's pulling it.
Sheamus and Holland have more to worry about him than their match themselves. That is funny.
Yeah,
I like that. I dig that a lot.
They need a big push because I like this group, man.
No, it's a good group. It's a good group.
Oh, back to the real quick. I'm sorry. The Edge group with Damian Priest. I love that, and I just want to know. I wonder who they're going to bring next. I think me and Ray talked about potential people for this, and we I think it was you, Ray. I talked to. They said Ciampa. Ciampa might be a part of it.
I heard Ciampa.
That's a perfect fit.
I heard Ripley. I heard her as the female presence.
Oh really?
I heard that.
Wow.
Yeah, no.
So I didn't watch Monday either. So I haven't. I
didn't watch Monday. This is just from If she's with that group,
I like it.
That's heat. That is heat.
I like it.
Ciampa, I could see with that group, and
maybe Drew McIntyre goes with Sheamus with this group. The whole.
Yeah,
I could see it. I mean,
I could see who didn't get a check? I just realized where Finn Balor. He didn't get a check.
He didn't get a check. They did that.
I knew somebody was missing.
They did.
He didn't get a check. He didn't get a chicken. He didn't get a turkey.
And he's a champ. And he's a
They
US
did
champ.
that Friday night SmackDown something because Ricochet didn't get a check.
That's right.
The Intercontinental Champion didn't get a check on WrestleMania. Come on, man.
The Intercontinental Championship doesn't mean maybe back in the day, if you were the Intercontinental Champion, you were next.
Yeah,
that's right. That's what it meant. Yeah. That's what it meant.
You were the guy. You were next. You're up and coming.
You know who else wasn't there? Dewdrop, man.
That's a good joke.
Hold on. The fact that she didn't make it in the Group of 8 tag team just lets you know. She didn't make. She could make that group. That lets you know where she stands with him.
All right, go to the next.
Stop talking about the match I want to talk about here. My guy, and I'm saying my guy because when they did when they started doing the guest drafters at the NFL draft, and they let the people announce the draft picks. I just encourage you guys to go watch Pat McAfee announcing the draft. He gives a pick.
I can only imagine.
He cuts a promo. I won't give you the whole thing, but it's funny to watch. So he's announcing. I think this was at. I'm trying to think who Indianapolis's big rival was at the time. Might have been Tennessee, maybe. I don't know. But he was like, "You guys might not know who I am because I never really did my job against you guys because we always scored points."
This is a punter, yeah.
And that's how he opens. And I'm like, this guy, I like this guy. So ever since then, and then he's punting, he's strutting off the field, he's doing the golf thing. This, I have been a Pat McAfee mark for quite some time. And so when he was announcing, when he got the announcer's job, I'm like, okay, this is
and he nailed it from day one. He was perfect.
This is something. And then when he did the little stint in NXT with my man Adam Cole, and putting together a mat, and I'm like, okay, this guy's got something. This guy, he's already got the heel manner, he's already got drawing the crowd. He obviously hosts a podcast, so he knows how to be engaging.
He's got a great podcast too, man.
this guy, okay. And then they did some concocted storyline with Austin Theory, whatever. That really didn't matter. But Pat McAfee, Austin Theory. Pat McAfee defeats Austin Theory in match 1. Before we go to match 2 and beyond, because we'll talk about that in a minute. Pat McAfee, Austin Theory. Thoughts?
I like Austin Theory. He's kind of a schmuck, but I think he's got a bright future. And I thought the match was pretty good, man. It wasn't, but McAfee was fantastic. I think he did great. He hit his marks good. He took his bumps and all that. I thought he did great. But I don't know about Theory so much yet. But yeah, the first match I thought was good.
It's interesting. We talked about it earlier. This is a Mania where 2 civilians come in and put on credible, if not top performances. Certainly, Logan and Pat did some things that were, again, pretty impressive. That some current rostered people can't do. So that's an interesting thing. I don't know what that portends to. Does that mean, because I don't think you can just find guys to say, I'd love to be in a wrestling match and do it. They must have, these guys are athletic. Austin Theory is being bantied about as a next big star for the company. I don't see it yet.
I don't either.
I don't see it. When I saw him in Elimination Chamber, I don't know if you saw that match. And I've seen him in several other matches. I'm not looking at somebody that makes me go, that could be an amazing star down the road. If anything, the talk of him being the next big star is because I think he has similar look and body type of a Cena. But
I was just about to say that, yeah.
But that does not make you Cena. And I'm not a big Cena fan anyway. But so the match was great. McAfee, once again, I don't know.
Cowboy cheerleaders.
Yeah, that was fun.
The intro song with the 7 Nation Arts.
His ring attire. He's just like, oh, I got a match. Wait, hold on. And there we go. He had a tank top, a gold chain, some black jeans, and some designer shoes on.
I think they had some J4s, didn't they?
I don't know. No, I don't think they were. I don't know. I didn't. Yeah, no, he just come out like he just, hold on, man. He's like on the phone. He's like, wait a minute. I got a match.
I'll be back.
Well, I don't even remember the match much because, of course, then the strangest, most surreal thing I've ever witnessed in WrestleMania history occurred.
Well, before we do that, here's the thing: if Austin Theory cuts that little
that little cheesy thing,
if he cut that out, I think he'd be a lot. But I think people would actually take him. He just looks like a goofball.
Yeah, the selfie stuff.
It's just goofy.
I mean, again, they're saying that he has the mannerisms, the professional, he's workable, he's a nice guy, and all that. And so that's what the company likes now. They don't really want somebody that's going to be a hellraiser out fighting, and today a wrestler is not about staying out and riding Space Mountain and getting in bar fights and things like that. Cena is the template for what they want in the future. Somebody that can show up on Regis and Kathy Lee and make a wish and all that kind of stuff. So that's why they like Austin Theory. Austin Theory. So I will see, but he took one hell of a stunner. That's all I know.
Hey, that sell of the stunner, man.
That was one of the best stunners I've seen in a while.
That is top tier. I felt that. I'm like, ooh.
You might have seen at WrestleMania 38 the best stunner and the worst stunner.
By far, it's not even a stunner. He was stunned. How did he
Oh,
get
God.
stunned before the stunner?
Well, before we get there, let's talk about.
Okay, so yeah,
I didn't in my wildest dreams. They got me good. I give them credit. I had no idea that was going to happen. Vince started taking off his shirt and his suit, and I'm going, what the hell's this?
Yeah.
You know? Because I knew this was going to be the match before the main event.
Yeah.
But I didn't think I was going to see what I was going to see.
No.
And yes, I popped like a mark. I was out of my mind. I was wow. It was like a roller coaster.
Shout out to Vince McMahon. What's he like 72 right now?
Oh, what a sad thing. Shout out to Pat McAfee, who ran into those chicken leg clotheslines.
Tell you what, the Vince of 72 still has guns. Steroids is
guns, yeah.
Steroid is he doesn't know how to use them, but Pat McAfee's like, look, you pay me. What do you want me? You want me to sell this? Cool. Okay.
It was horrible.
That was bad.
You know, why couldn't Austin Theory, let me make clear, Theory, why couldn't Theory jump him like he did initially, then crotched him, then dragged him to the post, crotched him again, and then let Vince pin him, you know, and then, you know, you wouldn't have to have that stupidity, you know, and that puts all the heat on Austin Theory, which you want. Vince, you know, gets the last word, and McAfee got beat because he turned his back, and that would have been great for him to have to do moves against Vince, and then the punt, the kick of the ball. I was, and I'm telling you, I'm maybe I'm stupid, but I'm watching this going, oh, this is so painful. I didn't know it was gonna hear. I did not think I'd hear the glass break. I didn't
either.
I didn't see that coming.
And when that glass broke, it was like
until when I first thought about it, when the post-match celebration took so long.
Yes, and I'm like there was a timing problem.
Yeah, and it took so long, and I'm like, okay, they're waiting for something. Okay, this might okay. Yes, that makes okay, but that was so.
For all we know, Austin might have been in the back drinking, and they said, "You got to get up there. It's your cue."
They could have cut 15 minutes off of that and still had the same effect. Which, by the way, shout out to Austin's Beer Brand, who got a lot of pub on this. And what we were talking about, Lewis, they couldn't bring our man up to throw him the beer. What was the dude's name we found about last time? They couldn't flew him in. I forgot what his. Hold on, I'm gonna look this up right now because this man, because we looked it up last time, and that was
the Stone Cold's beer thrower. I forgot his name, man.
Mark Yeaton.
Oh, Mark Yeaton, timekeeper.
Mark Yeaton. They couldn't flew him in to throw the beer because whoever this beer dude was between night 1 and night 2, he got work. He got a lot of work. Like he's probably back like
that was it. So I don't know how it was the greatest worst thing I've ever seen in all of one.
That's a great way to put it. From Vince falling into the ropes before the
best way to say it, it was the best stunner I've ever seen taken. It was the worst stunner I've ever seen taken. You know,
all in one.
I mean, there's a Scott Hall.
Oh yeah, that was a great one.
He took a stunner at WrestleMania 18, I believe it was. That was a great stunner.
Yeah,
still my favorite one is The Rock.
Well, The Rock would always.
Because he do a flip over and then he would rope, end up that way. I was like, okay, that's
Chris Jericho took a stunner where he jumped out of the ring. He went out of the ring, and I always thought that was great. But that was great. Austin had a great time. I mean, the fans loved it. We got past it, but going back to what we said earlier, we saw the end of Triple H. Austin got his last match. Taker got to say goodbye. please, Lord, let that be the last time Vince is involved in any physical aspect of a match.
If somebody just done.
You can't punch nobody. You can't kick nobody. No. You can't do nothing. That was
I did not see that coming because I didn't think he was physically able to do something like that anymore.
Right.
You see him talking when Austin Aries goes to his office or whatever, and the way Vince McMahon talks is like, man, this guy's old. You know, it feel like he's not, barely hanging on or whatever.
He looks and sounds worse than his age now. It's like age really caught up to him. And it's just, and so I'm like, please let that be, that's the 4 things I want this Mania to end on. No more McMahon physical stuff.
No,
because
that's Shane, that's Vince, that's Stephanie.
I think you're going to see some Shane again. I'm sorry.
All of them. No, I know, but all of them. Just stop stop the press. Go collect the checks and just be done.
Man, I'm watching the fight now, and McAfee he did a terrific job, man. He did the swanton, he missed.
Yeah.
But he did a good job. And then the superplex off the top, the way he did he did the backflip.
Yeah, the flip, and then jumped
and landed.
Oh, God, that was amazing.
That was a hell of a vertical. He landed right on top of the top rope, man. And
again, I don't know what it means, but 2 civilians put on a show at WrestleMania. Yeah. That's really strange.
I've seen a clip.
McAfee. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Luis.
I've seen a clip of McAfee's from his podcast, and he talked about this match. And I think he might have did it right after the show because he was still kind of buzzed or whatever. But he said that from what I've seen, I could have looked at it wrong, that the whole thing with Steve Austin and Vince McMahon wasn't planned.
Yeah.
He said that it was kind of just happened.
If that's the case, what a wild company that is. $billion company, and they're doing shit like that.
He said, I did not expect to get stunned by Stone Cold.
Well,
I heard that. He said,
let me tell you something. Not only did Pat McAfee put up a phenomenal match, for a civilian, as I said, he also got caught on camera doing the funniest thing I've ever seen in wrestling. He's knocked out on the ground, stunned, and he's drinking a beer.
As he should.
I'm gonna get a GIF on that. I loved it. I was cackling. I was like convulsing while watching that.
That was so funny.
To me,
and he sold that stunner pretty damn good too, man.
Oh God,
that beer, like
I've been watching that clip. Someone's got to gift that because it is just phenomenal.
It's fantastic.
I mean, if I ever saw McAfee, I'd just say, dude, you make me laugh anytime I need a laugh. Mm-hmm. I just bring that up.
Yeah, it was great.
Because he was getting drunk saying, I can't believe I sold for this old man.
Yeah.
That's what he was thinking.
He's like, man, this direct deposit better clear. That's what he's man.
Well, and if you YouTube Stone Cold Mania 38 reaction, that him coming out to the McAfee event was bigger than Kevin Owens, because nobody was expecting it.
Nobody was expecting that.
And watching those reactions and watching by the way, I don't know if you knew this, you might have seen it. The guy whoever behind does the cues for music, he screwed up on. He hit Austin Theory's music, and it was Vince who screwed up. Vince went like this.
That's what I thought, because I saw Vince look, and I'm like,
I've seen the Vince.
Okay,
I was wondering what that was.
He's expecting somebody else.
Yeah, and that's what I knew. That's what I do. So, but listen, I don't know how to say it. It was wonderful. It was horrible, and it was wonderful at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's what only you can do. And at that point, I could have been done with WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that would have been great.
That was a hell of a way to end it. They should have.
But
that would have been good.
But they didn't, because there's one more match. The most important match in WrestleMania history. The biggest match and the biggest match. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Can I just say, face Brock is so scary to me, because he's just having so much fun, and that scares the daylights out of me. Just to see, because you know who he is, and just to see him looking at you, laughing and smiling, and like doing his own intro, I'm like, oh crap, Roman is about to get some work right here. Roman Reigns wins via pinfall. There was no appearance after the match. That's how the show closes. I will say this, and I don't know if this is a popular opinion or not. If they never do a Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar match, I am 1,000% okay.
Amen. Amen.
Amen to that.
Amen.
Amen to that.
No need.
That's the cherry on the sundae. We've had enough of this now.
We've had enough.
Yeah.
I had enough at the Rumble, but they wanted to draw it out. So make the money, do whatever. But I don't see where Brock Lesnar goes from here. We obviously talked a little bit about where Roman goes from here. I just don't. I don't know if Roman was actually hurt. I've heard some things that the match actually went how it was supposed to go, which
it seemed very abrupt. I was like, that's it?
Yeah,
that's how I was. But you know, and so it went according to the sheet here, 12
minutes, right? It was like 12 minutes.
And I've only learned since at the time, I didn't think I saw an injury or anything of that nature. But it seemed very abrupt. It came out of nowhere. It wasn't by any means a horrible match, but it wasn't a good match. And you know, it's dangerous when you say the greatest WrestleMania main event of all time. But we have to be honest now. I mean, they have wrestled each other in main events, pay-per-views, including one other, but they did a Mania two times now, 2 Mania main events, right? The one where Seth came in and made it a triple.
And then the one.
And then they had a main event
the next year or the year after that.
They had a main event in Saudi Arabia. That was the greatest Royal Rumble main event. They've had so many main events. You know, I know the WWE likes to write history. So one day you'll be able to buy the DVD or whatever, or buy the program on their network, WWE's greatest rivalries. You could make the argument because they've wrestled so many times, it's a great rivalry. It isn't. It's not that great a rivalry. The matches are not that better. They'll make it they'll make it seem that it is, but it isn't. This is done. I don't. This was done. I'm done. I just don't. I just said that's the end of this type of match. I think Reigns needs to be in matches with more athletic people. You know, the match he had with Daniel Bryan and Edge was a good example where it could go to being a good match. Got to put him in with good wrestlers so he learns. He can't keep doing these luggish big man matches. I'm so tired of this. And so I wasn't really much into this match because I said, we've seen this now. It seems to me we've seen it at least a half a dozen times.
I think the most exciting thing for me was possibly the unification of the belt. To me, that was exciting. That was exciting to me. You know, I like to see that, but I wasn't really interested in this
if it ended early, then, you know, that's too bad, but we just can't. I don't know how you book these two guys going against each other because they've reversed the heel face now that, you know.
I'm done. I'm good.
Well, I know as far as like the injury goes, when I was watching the fight, I heard, you could hear Roman say, my shoulder is out of joint, out of socket. And you can hear Heyman go, is it out of socket? He goes, yeah. And then the match kind of continues.
But the fact that you can hear that clearly.
Yeah, I thought it was maybe a play.
That seems like a work.
And then when the match ended, he kind of like grabs a rope and tries to snap it in place. And then you can hear Michael Cole say, did he snap it back in place? Or whoever it was. So I don't know how good of a workover that was, but. And then at the end, he tried to lift the belt, and he kind of went like this and lift the belt.
Yeah, I just thought I thought he was selling. That's all.
Yeah, it's a good sell.
I mean, I did too. Yeah.
It's a great sell. I mean, I will say this, from the origination of Suplex City, which is their first match, to this now.
That was a long time ago, man. You know how long ago
I know, man.
That was
6 years ago.
I was thinking that.
It was 7 years. Wait, this is what, WrestleMania 38?
38.
It was
31.
It was 31.
Yeah. Wow.
It was the same WrestleMania.
Sting.
That's Sting. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So that's
that long ago.
That's just too much. You know, I don't know how they can dance around it. They've got to just move on. I don't know what you do with Brock. Because Brock, much like I said with Ronda Rousey, is an end game. You have to have an end game with that person.
Yeah.
If you're just gonna lose, then what do you do with them? And remember, over the last 4 years, Brock has done relatively clean jobs to Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns.
A couple years he did one to Goldberg.
And Goldberg, I'm sorry, thank you. That's so you've made time to go to. You have made Brock Lesnar vulnerable, vulnerable. You know, and that's not how you book a guy like Brock, because eventually it doesn't work anymore. And thank you. That Goldberg was fun. It was really fun what happened at Survivor Series, but in short term, it was great. Long term, that didn't help you.
Yeah.
You needed to
I'm so glad that they didn't put Goldberg in WrestleMania.
He was another one that I thought might be shown up for Seth Rollins, to be honest with you.
I'm glad they didn't do that. I would have been pissed because I love Goldberg. Don't get me wrong. I was a big fan when he was in WCW and he came out, and I mean I love everything about it. But this whole run that he's been on lately with the reemergence here and there, I'm over it. I'm over it.
So, I don't know what you do with Brock unless Brock's going to go home, and just take a chill for a while.
I mean, it wouldn't upset me if I never saw Brock again wrestle. I mean, I like the guy and I think he's a beast, but I mean, it's good for me.
There's not much to do.
If he never appears again, I wouldn't, bring back Brock Lesnar, you wouldn't catch me saying it.
And so, I like him. So it looks like the company is all in with Roman. He holds both belts. It'd be foolish if they break them off and do a tournament.
Keep this thing going. I want to see this kid.
Make him undisputed. He's now undisputed. And I guess feed him as many people as you can, baby faces. And somewhere along the line, the three of us will know if it's going to happen or not. I don't know what that.
I told you guys, I don't want the Rock and Reigns, man. I don't want it, man.
No,
I'd rather see them together than against each other. Because I think I told you, Ray. TJ, I told you, the whole head of the table deal. The Samoans and all that, Pacific Islanders, man, I love those guys. I've always been a big fan of the Samoan wrestlers throughout the history. For them to come together in the name of Samoa or something like that, to me would be a better line. I like, and maybe they can, put the thing like, Rock, you are the head of the table, or something like that, which I doubt would ever happen, but. I'd rather see them together than apart.
If they could, remember Vince, up until recently, Vince's biggest manias were the two Rock Cena manias. And if you remember what he did, he sacrificed WrestleMania 29, which was a horrible ending where the Miz beat John Cena because the Rock bottomed Cena and Miz retained the belt. And then the very next night on Monday Night Raw, Cena came out and says, I challenge you to next year's WrestleMania. And so they had a whole year to build Rock Cena. That was their biggest box office mania they ever had. If Vince could do that now, he would do it in a second.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? In other words, if he could somehow get paper and contract Rock versus Roman, he would he would let people know, Hollywood 2023, April, whatever, I'm giving you a year to get your shit in order and save your money and get out to the West Coast. So that's their goal. They would never do it as a surprise. They'll never do it a month before Mania. It's gonna have, the second he knows that he can book that, it's the very next moment he gets on television or broadcast to say, we're doing this. This is happening. And or at least bring Rock in at various moments to let it be known that this is going to happen. And I can only imagine a 2-night affair. We haven't talked about it, but it looks like WWE is going to probably get sold in the next 3 to 5 years. Major media companies are from all over the world are looking at this for content and streaming, and their library is worth billions. And the biggest company is Disney, which owns ABC and ESPN. They're public. They're the number one contender for buying WWE. And I can just see the family business saying, what better way to sell our company right on the heels of the biggest box office attraction ever, being WrestleMania 34 in Hollywood. And they need Dwayne Johnson. So, because otherwise they painted themselves into a corner. And these next, I'm old school. I still remember King of the Ring, Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. That's all I know. Anything in between is just another thing, I used to like King of the Ring. I used to like King of the Ring too.
Oh, they did the actual tournaments and it actually meant something.
I love the King of the Ring. But I mean, so we're gonna know about this because, but who knows what's going on? I mean, I actually didn't do it today. I was gonna go on to IDMB and look to see what Dwayne Johnson has lined up for movies and see if there's like a gap, things are in post-production, because that's what it's all about. And it would be a big spectacle. I'm not suggesting it's gonna be great, but it would be a big spectacle.
Well, that's the thing. The match doesn't even have to be great. Just the moment, the moment, and give us 10 minutes. And because they haven't wrestled 87 times like Roman and Brock, then that moment of them, because they've never.
It'd be sick.
It's 2 different generations of Samoans. This is the head of the table, and this is.
And then to imagine The Rock versus Heyman on the stick.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Just the promo
The Rock shows
itself.
up on, The Rock shows up on SmackDown, his show, and interrupts Brock Lesnar. I'm sorry, Paul Heyman. That would be.
Oh man.
I mean, so they have to go for that. I just don't know if do they have a green, yellow, or red light. Nobody knows.
I would say they would have to almost sell out to get it, because the simple question is, if not Rock, then who?
That's why I say they're painting themselves in the corner. It ain't a lot.
They have to make this happen somehow, some way. Because who else? I know right now, I guess the Shinsuke is going to be the next fodder. He's just like an appetizer right now. He's just. He's like mozzarella. He's like mozzarella sticks right now.
It's content. It's just content.
I like mozzarella sticks. He's like potato skins or something. He's just
pot stickers.
He's the communal chips and salsa. That's what he is. Everybody gets it. Just you get it. And then what? How?
I mean, they can, Cody Rhodes is here to get the championship, he said. So maybe that Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns deal.
I think that's the thing that would intrigue me. And again, Cody can work a good match, but
not right now though. It's too early, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a build there. You got to figure. I mean.
I think it's SummerSlam build if they.
That's what I was going to say. Cody Rock for Summer.
I can work with that.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah. But I think I told you, Ray or TJ, that my dude, like I said, I don't like to see the Rock and Reigns deal.
Yeah, I understand.
I'd rather see them together, and I would like to see them maybe go against another group of people.
Could be Edge.
Probably be like the Edge group, and they come over there and they beat up the Usos and Roman Reigns terrorize them for a month or two or whatever. And they got more guys in their group than Roman Reigns does, and we need another guy, and then The Rock comes out, and helps them, and the Samoas, they start doing those little dances and they start pumping up and sticking their tongues out, man, and doing that, man, and I would love to see that.
Well, you just might. I can almost guarantee you that's what you're going to see, but at some point, when Rock takes the pins and delivers most of the SmackDowns is when Roman says, so how about what you just said happens, but then the Usos and Roman turn on Rock saying, hey.
See, I like that.
And that's when, that's when, I come to help the family. You didn't come to help nothing. I'm the, and that becomes the battle, So I can see the scenario you just laid out, up to the point where then eventually Roman and orders the Usos to join him in beating down the Rock, because you left, and this is my what he used to say for a while. Roman used to say, "This is my bone, my yard,
my yard."
So, I mean, you just kind of booked Mania, dude. You didn't even know it.
Yeah, man. Somebody to pay me.
You just booked the whole Royal Rumble run all the way.
Royal Rumble.
You did Survivor Series through Mania. You just did that right there.
Royal Rumble is when the family, the Samoan family, leave the Rock in a pool of his own film.
You just told the story. Go ahead and send your resume in.
Somebody get Leonidas on the line.
I'm sold. I'm you know what? I'm sold right there.
Hey, but listen, I know we're gonna wrap this up real quick. And I know we're going to wrap it up soon, but real quick, Ray, I know you saw our last podcast, top 5. If you can, give us your top 5 as quick as possible.
Oh, that's easy. That's easy. I'll go
starting at 5.
What's that?
Starting at 5.
Okay, that's all I'll give you. I'm going to go with, I'm going to start in no particular order. I'm going to start with the wrestlers that are currently working towards the oldest wrestler that's no longer working. How about that? So I marvel. I watch AEW. Anything Bryan Danielson does, and I've followed him from the indies. He can work heel, he can work face, he can do things in the ring I haven't seen before. So the American Dragon. From there, it would be probably the number one is my Austin, because in the 90s that was my time, and Austin was my guy. I can't speak more about how much over time I really appreciate Bret Hart, Bret the Hitman Hart. His matches, he tells stories. If you listen to CM Punk right now, he tells you right now the best wrestler at his time is Bret Hart, and he's learning late. He's like, I watch a Bret Hart match, and I see what he's doing. He's not showboating. I take pride in Bret Hart because he came up from family, great tag, became an IC champ, worked his way, didn't get the vote of confidence from Vince, but then won it again. And then he put on those matches at the end, and he's part of the greatest WrestleMania match, in my opinion, of all time. The double reverse, WrestleMania 13. So Bret Hart, this guy here right behind me he's the freakiest kind of greatest wrestler. I love him. The stories, he lived his gimmick. He was nuts. But every time I listen to stories or read about Savage or watch him, if you ever get a chance to see him wrestling in Mid-South with Jerry Lawler before he went to the WWE, they're crazy. He's a crazy man. He's one of the craziest guys that ever lived. So I just love him for the pure spectacle. And
I love it.
Yeah. And then finally, as a kid, Roman's age, I was really into Ricky Steamboat. He was like,
me too. I had him on my wall. He was on my wall. I had a couple
Ricky
of posters
Steamboat.
of him.
I'm a military brat. The reason I was into wrestling is because, you know, I come from a military family. We moved all over the country, everywhere we went. And wherever I went in the 70s, you know, you had your regular television, but then it seemed like everywhere we went, there's their own, that was back in the days when there was territories. So I was watching territorial wrestling, and I couldn't get my head around the fact that everywhere I went was a different world champ. It drove me nuts as a kid. I'd say, wait a minute, how's this guy's the world champ? How's Nick Bockwinkel the champion when I just went down and saw Ric Flair or Bruno Sammartino, or, you know, and on and on and on, and Harley Race. And so as a kid, and in mid 70s, I was in Virginia, and I was watching Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. And that's when I saw Ric Flair versus Ricky Steamboat. Ricky Steamboat was like, he was like Bruce Lee with muscles.
Yeah.
And he kicked Ric Flair's ass every week. And that was, as a kid, I was like, I want to be Ricky Steamboat. You know, I just thought he was the greatest thing. And the regionalization of wrestling. You know, a lot of people living in various parts of the country in the 70s and 60s and 50s and 40s, you know, they only knew their own wrestling. They didn't know what was going on or wherever. So when you're a military brat traveling the country 2 or 3 years, wherever, and falling in love, getting into the wrestling of the area, there wasn't no WWE that was played throughout the United States. You only got to watch the wrestling on your UHF channel of your respective area. So if I was in Portland, well, I lived in Alaska, I was watching some of the Portland wrestling. When I lived in Tacoma, Washington, when we lived in Omaha, there was wrestling then, Kansas City Jayhawk wrestling. When we got to Virginia, I was watching Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. But by then I was traveling up to see my grandparents in Northeast Pennsylvania. And then I'd watch the early Worldwide Wrestling Federation with Bruno and Bob Backlund. And my head would explode. I said, how can there be all this wrestling? You know? And that's how I got into, as a kid, I became a wrestling fan. And I would go to, you know, any 7-Eleven, and I'd see the wrestling magazines, and there'd be all these different wrestlings. And I go, well, how is this guy the wrestler? Wait a minute. And then in my mind, I started saying, well, who's the best? Who, you know, and it drove me nuts. I couldn't get in. I couldn't understand how they could be different. And, you know, and then I would take a piece of paper and I would do cartoons, and I would say, I would make my own, we should have a tournament. They should have a tournament to decide who is the best. I just couldn't, you know, and that was regionalization. You know, you don't have that now. Kids don't even understand that. But if you lived in Florida in the 70s, it was Dusty Rhodes was the champ. That was it. That was all you had. Dusty fucking Rhodes, the American Dream, and working for Eddie Graham promotion. And, you know, you didn't know anything else until cable.
In Tennessee, we had Memphis. We had the Memphis.
So you had Jerry Lawler. Jerry Lawler was the king of Memphis, still is, 30, 40 years. And all the guys that came out of Undertaker, Rock, all those guys came out of Memphis, you know? So you guys, like, you know, so those are my 5 guys, and a lot of them
like it.
You know,
it's a good list.
You know, it's a good list.
Although
a lot of
Steamboat was one of my guys.
Although I will say,
like
you talk about Adam Cole being small, you put Bryan Danielson on there, but you know, I understand. Yeah, I get why.
But I think Bryan Danielson looks athletic.
No, I totally. Adam Cole needs some. I get it. No,
he needs some tone.
Yeah, he needs tone is a good word. He needs some tone.
He's like a young Shawn Michaels.
But he's got the mic, man. You know, that's why, you know, he's good on the stick. But
he's good on the stick.
Well, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you guys so much for indulging me. This was so much fun.
This is
I hope we can do it. If we can do it again, I'm always up for it.
Man, definitely.
I'm always here to talk. There's so much wrestling stuff I could talk about. I was telling Lewis, I could come up with the best match of your.
We could come up with all kinds of historical retrospectives, best Mania, favorite match
Mania ever, you know, best moment ever, best.
But this 38 is up there. It's up. This is one of the top 10 WrestleManias, I think.
Top 10 is a good place for it. I won't I won't creep my top 5. I can't do it.
But it's going to be influential. for what
It
we've
is definitely
seen.
influential.
A lot of historical notes.
I have a top 3, and then everything else is tier 2 underneath. That's my WrestleManias.
Yeah, it'd be hard
Okay.
for me to do, man. To put a list of WrestleMania
Well, it's
together.
just
I'm more geared toward matches than the overall cards.
Yeah.
But
right.
yeah.
Well, that's what I'm
'cause
geared
I can
more
tell
towards
you what
matches
match.
and moments. And everybody says 17, and I'm not digging 17. 17 is
Company never was the same after it. When they turned Austin heel, it was a disaster.
that was a terrible. That's in the Quinella, I'd say, of the top 4. Like 24 for me because I was live. Like Undertaker wins the belt. I got to see Floyd Mayweather, Big Show, Ric Flair's last. Like that one live is just up there.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting thing we should do, because then you have to look at the overall card and look at it. Because I can always pick out matches and where they were, but
matches.
The overall card, is getting back to that, like you said, you got to see some keystone moments all in one night.
And then every single one that I like has at least one match that is absolute garbage.
Oh.
It's absolute, but everything else covered the garbage, and it's like, okay, cool. I'm cool with that.
There seems to be that element to it, But I would love
to have something for everybody. So yeah, you know what? Maybe we should do that little top 5 of WrestleMania so far.
We'll be here for a week, but at least maybe we can cover SummerSlam or Survivor Series. Do a thing like we do, because I enjoy this, and we seem to click. So I enjoyed this.
I dig it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. Thank you, Lewis. Thank you for inviting. Thank you for staying. It is 12:07. I'm getting up at 5:00 still to go to the gym. Don't ask me why.
I wake up every day to the crack of 9. Sorry.
That's what I say about that. You know what? One day. That's what I strive to be right there. That's
55 and out. That's what it was.
Life goals. Any last words for this WrestleMania before we
that's a good idea.
Close this out. Any last words?
Louis?
Thank God there was no Goldberg.
Wow, this guy does not like Goldberg.
I like Goldberg, but I'm just he needs to just chill, man.
I think I'm hopeful that it is the end of 4 careers. Triple H, may he never wrestle again. Undertaker, may he never be in pain getting up every morning. Austin got to have his farewell in Texas. And please, Vince, just stand behind the curtain and direct, but don't ever get involved. And I don't even want to see Vince on the mic. I don't want to see Vince in hits. He doesn't talk anymore. He sounds like a slee stack from Land of the Lost. I don't know what's going on with him. Those 4 guys, which were so much part of our lives, they're, paramount to our existence as being wrestling fans. It's time to say goodbye. And that's what WrestleMania 38 hopefully will be, at least for 3, hopefully for 4.
Yeah, I like it.
Let's see. I would probably say, besides Roman, because he's like a separate tier by himself, I'd say kind of a changing of the guard of the wrestlers that they like. There was less, obviously the almost of it all. Like that's like the last era of big man,
and monster heel,
the athletic tweeners. So for me, WrestleMania 38 is the changing of guard of type of wrestler. And
that's good.
If you're a celebrity, you better bring it, because you just showing up and not working. You gotta bring it. And shout out to all 3,
because the bar got raised.
It definitely did.
By far.
That's
for their first. I know Logan Paul showed up last year, but for their first match at WrestleMania, and bangers.
Good job, guys.
So yeah, great job, guys. I am gonna wrap this up because holy Lord, it's 12:10.
I'll catch your ass down the road.
Yes. I forgot you said that. That's where my mind is right now.
We'll sign off. But again, anytime you want to do it, retrospective or maybe the next big pay-per-view. What is the next big pay-per-view?
I was going to ask that too. I don't know.
For me, it's Survivor Series, but I mean, I'm SummerSlam.
Yeah, I'm a SummerSlam.
Yeah,
we can do SummerSlam. I don't even know AEW's pay-per-view schedule, so I don't.
I watch them as they come and go. Yeah.
I don't ever buy them, so I'm not paying $50. Although now that they got the HBO Max thing, maybe they start doing that. But I don't know. We'll coordinate. As of now, short list, let's say SummerSlam.
Yep.
Lord willing, we're all breathing and living life, but
a lot sooner, right? A lot sooner after the pay-per-view. Now, like, WrestleMania was what, 2 weeks ago? Now we're talking about it.
2 weeks ago. Well, I was.
Yeah, but I've been busy. We've been busy. Yeah. So we'll do the next. We'll do the next pay-per-view. Hopefully our schedules align right after it.
I'm flexible, so you guys take care.
Yeah, we know you're flexible. We know.
I won't say nothing more about that. Last you heard of that.
Oh no, you're good. Thank you guys. Good night.
It was a great joy.
Love you all. And
all right. Don't forget my podcast, This, That, and the Other. Available on all streaming sites, Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Perfect, Ray. Thank you for having me. Thank you for showing up, Lewis, as always. Host of This, That, and the Other podcast on all available podcast streamings.
Yes, that and the other.
What he said. And I am TJ. Thank you all again. If you made it these 3 hours of watching, God bless you. I appreciate you. I will send you a gift certificate in the mail. I did not say to wear, so haha. With that being said, good night. Love you all, and we are done.